Shrimp keeping is by far the most fulfilling hobby I have ever stumbled across. I often end up in situations where I try to explain to friends or family why I'm so infatuated with it, and find that I can't quite convey exactly what it is that makes it so satisfying and special. In this video, I will attempt to explain those reasons to the best of my ability, with the benefit of having plenty of time to think it all out. I'd also love to hear why you enjoy shrimp keeping. Please let me know in the comments down below. From the outside looking in, shrimp are incredibly simple creatures. They eat, they molt, they breed, they die. They don't seem to do much in terms of thinking or planning. They're somewhat automaton-like, creatures driven entirely by chemical inputs from the surrounding environment. If they smell food, they'll go and look for it. If they sense the pheromone of a recently molted female, they'll attempt to breed. Now, you could easily make the same argument for humans, but that's a whole different topic for a much more complicated video. Despite the supposed simplicity of our cherry shrimp, there's something much more complex happening that we couldn't possibly understand in its fullest. With as little as 2 shrimp, all we need to provide them is water, food, and time. And somehow, they will multiply fairly rapidly with those 3 simple ingredients. How they manage to turn protein and plant matter into dozens of babies is enchanting to me. It's gonna always leave me bewildered and keeps me fascinated by my aquariums. Shrimp genetics are very interesting when it comes to color. Given their relatively quick generation time, we can see a clear and rapid effect of artificial selection in our shrimp populations. If we take out the least colorful and move them to a separate tank, we can consistently breed very beautiful and highly colorful shrimp. This is an oversimplification of the breeding process, but it really is as simple as isolating the traits you want and removing the ones you don't. This is how breeders have created beautiful and brightly colored shrimp from their natural clear and brownish wild-type colors. If you have any interest in genetics, you would benefit from having a shrimp tank, or 2, or 12. There is something deeply satisfying about going to a pet store or a local breeder and buying 10 or 15 shrimp, knowing that one day you will have many more if you play your cards right. My first ever shrimp tank started with 12, and only 8 of them survived the acclimation process. Those 8 shrimp, which were roughly valued at around $32, have produced hundreds if not thousands of shrimp in the future generations. For me, it has nothing to do with the money. Sure, I turned my $32 of shrimp into potentially thousands of dollars over the years, but to me there's something innately satisfying about allowing an animal to truly thrive. Turning a handful of shrimp into an army of them is something I'm not sure I'll ever tire of. A great bonus to this point is the fact that you can potentially fund your hobby with the proceeds of selling your excess shrimp. It's fun to think about the fact that after you sell your shrimp, it's quite possible that the new owner may end up with a similarly booming colony, and that owner may then sell their excess. As this compounding effect goes on, your initial colony of 10 shrimp will theoretically become millions over the future generations. Now, learning curves can be frustrating in some ways, but if everything was easy and masterable on the first attempt, what fun would that be? Shrimp keeping can feel very daunting and overwhelming at the start, but the more time you spend doing it and learning about it, the simpler it becomes. I've reached a point where shrimp keeping is a nearly automated process with very little input of my own time and effort. This sense of mastery and continued learning is what allowed me to slog my way through the mistakes and moments of uncertainty. Like any hobby, we subconsciously are looking to improve in any way that we can. If it's easy, we lose interest. If it's impossible, we give up. Shrimp keeping is the perfect blend of easy enough to learn and very difficult to master. It's extremely rewarding in that way, and will keep you interested for potentially a lifetime. Shrimp keeping is something that the majority of people are unfamiliar with. It wouldn't be accurate to call it a completely niche hobby, but it certainly isn't in the mainstream. Half the people I tell about shrimp keeping think I am raising saltwater shrimp for food and ask if they're edible. People are typically fairly perplexed and intrigued by the fact that I'm actually breeding them for personal fulfillment as well as to support my aquarium hobby. The interest only seems to grow when they see the wide variety of colors I keep, the baby shrimp, and the females carrying eggs. Not everyone will be into it, and that's life, but I have found that the majority of people are excited to hear more, which is an awesome feeling when you're particularly passionate about something, hence why I make these videos. Staring into a shrimp tank, especially during feeding time, is borderline trance-inducing. This effect only intensifies as your colony grows in size. There's so much going on at any given time, which sounds hectic, but I only ever feel tranquil when looking at my tanks. I like to look around and see how many females are carrying eggs, how the patterns of the males are looking, how the plants in my tanks are shaping up, and well, you get the picture. This enjoyment is even further amplified when every stage of life is present. It's fun to search around and look for tiny, week-old babies crawling around amongst the comparatively gargantuan adults. The differences you can observe in week-old shrimp versus month-old shrimp is also quite startling. At that stage of their lives, they are growing very rapidly, which is a big part of what makes viewing them so enjoyable. Every single day there's something new to see, and it's become part of my routine that I hope to always have time for. Shrimp offer an incredibly unique window into the natural world, with relatively little effort compared to other aquarium animals. Within the confines of my home, I've been able to spectate and appreciate the birth, growth, and death of multiple generations of cherry shrimp. Despite the fact that I've seen it countless times, I still get a giddy feeling when I see a buried shrimp. I still feel elated at the sight of a fresh batch of day-old shrimplets. There's something so romantic to me about the ability to spectate an animal's entire life over the course of a few years. It brings me endless joy to experience that and to be able to provide them a predator-free environment that they can truly thrive in. This feeling is only amplified by the fact that I truly believe we can provide our shrimp with a safer and higher quality of life than they could find just about anywhere in nature. Resources are scarce and predators are plentiful out there. I like to think our shrimp are very grateful to be in our tanks. Well, as grateful as a shrimp can be. Shrimp do amazingly in shrimp bully tanks, but that's not the only role they can play. Shrimp are often kept in community tanks as a peaceful and hardy cleanup crew that have a few key advantages. When kept in community tanks with fish and snails, they can help to put a dent in the algae that will inevitably grow. They aren't magic, but they can certainly help. They also have the big advantage of preventing ammonia spikes from overfeeding. If you dump in a few too many pellets or fish flakes, the bottom-feeding shrimp crew will inevitably find any excess once it is sunk to the bottom. Instead of rotting and spoiling the water, your shrimp will do their best to clean it all up before that can happen. Obviously, you can still overfeed your tank if you go very excessive, but this is a nice safety net. Now, it's worth noting that shrimp are at the bottom of the food chain. Large fish will eat them given the opportunity, and even small fish will do the same with baby shrimp. Having a tank with plenty of moss or other living plants will help to alleviate this issue. It will provide plenty of hiding places to mitigate the loss of adults and baby shrimp alike. Just be warned that your population will not grow as quickly as if there were no predators. By this point in the video, you're probably tired of hearing the word shrimp, so I'll try to tone it down. There's something intangible about this hobby that I don't feel I've properly put into words in this video. It's something you have to experience yourself to understand, and I'm not sure any video or blog will do it justice. It's the equivalent of trying to explain the beauty of the Grand Canyon to someone who's never been. Your description may wow them, but it most certainly fails to convey the same awe-inspiring feeling that experiencing it firsthand would. In closing, the rewards of the shrimp keeping hobby compound over time. As you hone your skills and become more confident in your abilities, you will find yourself worrying significantly less about managing your tanks. As the concern and desires to micromanage fade over time, you will begin to realize the fruits of your labor. It's at this point that you can decide on your goals for the hobby, which can vary greatly from person to person. You may decide, like me, that your goal is to create huge colonies of active and healthy shrimp. It's also possible that you find yourself enamored with the artificial selection process. Maybe you want to create a new and unique line of shrimp, or maybe you simply want to create the brightest and most pristine line that you can show off online and to other breeders. Some people take a lot of pride in that, and have also found it to be quite lucrative when done on a larger scale. All of that to say, I really hope you give this hobby a shot. If it isn't for you, it isn't for you. but I find it likely that the majority of people on Earth would benefit from becoming a part of this hobby. As mentioned before, please leave your favorite reasons for keeping shrimp down in the comments below. If you liked the video, please leave a like and subscribe to see more videos in the future. Thanks again, and happy shrimp keeping.